What's up, guys? Block FPL here, and today we'll be looking at a quick review of the last game week, and then we'll be moving on to game week 13, and we've got a long international break, so I'm going to be talking about what I'm going to be thinking about doing and what I'm looking at doing as of right now, and I will probably do such a thing. But there's a lot of debate with like what to do with Leicester. Obviously, we got to get some Leicester players in. I already have two. I'm looking to get a third one in. But what's the best way to do that? Madison, Tielemans? Is Madison really worth the extra amount over Tielemans? We'll talk about it. First, let's look at this game week 11 team. So, the main success, I captained Vardy. Obviously, he did very well. The main downfall is that I played McGinn over Soyuncu. Now, I'm probably just going to start benching McGinn from now on. I'm happy playing the four defenders of TA, Lundstrom, Robertson, and Soyuncu. I mean, if you don't know, Lundstrom hit the post in the first half. He had 4 shots in the first half. He plays more of an attacking midfield role. You got to play him most weeks. Man United at home next week, you could bench him, but I'm thinking of just writing him out over the next. I mean, look at his fixtures. He's got, after Man United and then Wolves away, it's all, the fixture difficulty rating is all 2 after that, including games against Norwich, Watford, Aston Villa. I mean, it's just great. So, Lundstrom and Soyuncu, who also has a good run of fixtures, is probably going to be logged into my team. Obviously, I'm going to be playing Robertson and Alexander-Arnold every week, so I'll probably be going with a 4 at the back for a while. Now, let's look at how my team looks for next week. So, right now, obviously, McGinn on the bench. Captaining Vardy right now, I haven't really decided yet. I'll have to wait till further in the week, but Leicester just looks so good. Vardy just looks so good. It's pretty much just the form pick. Brighton did just concede 3 goals to Man United. If you ask me, I think Leicester are more likely, or they have a better attack than Manchester United do at the moment. So if we look at it simply, then that's a way to look at it. But also Brighton will be at home in that game, so maybe Leicester get 2 or 3 goals. Vardy is likely to do something again, in my opinion. Other captaincy option, honestly, I'm thinking about Alexander-Arnold or Robertson as more of a differential. Crystal Palace haven't scored in the last 2 EPL games, so that's pretty much why. Obviously, Robertson and Alexander-Arnold obviously have the high assist potential, and Robertson keeps getting the assists right now, so I might have to get it to him. But with Alexander-Arnold on the free kicks, I would probably end up, switching to Alexander-Arnold at the last second if I was to do that. So my debate right now for what to do, it's a pretty tough one. So Callum Wilson's in my team now. Obviously, my team's named Block Callum Wilson, so if I get rid of him, I'll probably change the team name. But anyway, do I bench him and play him again? Do I get rid of Callum Wilson? I could go Wilson down to Ings, and then I could go McGinn up to Madison, right? And then I could play Madison over Lundstrom. But is it really worth it to do a -4 to not play Lundstrom? But it's Madison. I really do like Madison, but I don't think it is. So if I make a transfer right now, the way I'm leaning is I have enough money in the bank to just go McGinn to Tielemans straight up. And then it would give me sort of a benching headache for the next long time unless there's an injury or something. But I could replace McGinn with Tielemans, and then, well, I don't know who I'd play. Who do you think I should play? I'd have to play Tielemans if I'm bringing him in for this good run of fixtures. I'd probably bench Lundstrom or Callum Wilson. Oh my gosh. Imagine having Callum Wilson on the bench. He's so unpredictable. I actually think there's a better chance of him scoring at Tottenham, which is next week, or the week after next, and then he is playing Wolves at home, just based on the way they play. But I think right now I'm going to just stick with Callum Wilson. I got him in for a reason. I told myself I was just going to stick with him, and I think that's what I've got to do here. It has changed a little bit because he literally, I'm not the biggest fan of expected goals and expected assists, but his expected goals and expected assists has been like nothing. So I'm just going to keep him because I don't really think it's worth the switch because I have like a good team that I can play. So I'm not going to try to take hits when I don't really have to. Like, me taking a hit right now would pretty much just be me over-optimizing when I already have a solid lineup, and I've just got to trust them. Another potential bad way my team is set up is that I have the Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, Salah combo. Now, I like the combo, don't get me wrong, and I think it's really good. But I'm questioning whether it's as good as a Salah, Mane, and then Robertson, Orchard, Alexander-Arnold combo. Because Salah and Mane are so good right now. And, well, Mane's been good all season. Salah's just been good recently. But the reason I say this is because look at our cheap defenders. So we got people like Rico, Soyuncu, Lundstrom. There's Tomori, right? You can play 3 of those every week. And you don't have to spend the money up to get Alexander-Arnold or Robertson. And you can have a solid defense. So that's why I'm thinking that in terms of value, they're not as valuable, just because there's people at cheaper price points that can not do what they're doing, I don't think, over the course of the season, but they can do similarly, and they're way cheaper. So if I had to choose one right now, I would probably, like, if you're wild carding or whatever, I would probably go with the Salah and Mane if you're looking to double up or triple up on Liverpool, which I would be. So that's a potential problem. Now, I mean, if we look at it in a different sense, Robertson has been like keeping up with Mane, pretty close in terms of points, especially considering that he's way cheaper than Mane. But if we look at other midfield options, there's really no other big midfielders that I would want right now other than Salah or Mane. So like De Bruyne is good. I could actually bench him if I get Tielemans in. Ooh, that would be a tough one. But the thing is, like with midfielders right now, I see it as you either get Mane or Salah, and maybe you still have De Bruyne. It's not really worth a transfer out, like Sterling is for a lot of people. But with the midfielders with like Maddison, Martial, Tielemans, Pulisic, maybe even Willian, like those guys are almost just as good in terms of, especially for value. I mean, you can low down on that price range. You get Maddison and Tielemans, and then like if one does bad, you just switch over to another midfielder at the same price range. I have Martial right now, and I'm looking to get somebody else in that price range. I would love Maddison, but it doesn't really fit into my team. I have to do too much, so I'm looking to get Tielemans. But my point is that if you get the value there, you can go up to Mane if you have De Bruyne, however you have your team set up. It might even be worth it to go down to two strikers for me at some point with just Abraham and Vardy. I don't know what other striker is really trustworthy, so that's one reason I'm holding on to Wilson. But Wilson to Ings would be nice. Ings has a good run of fixtures. They play Norwich coming up soon, which is obviously a fixture to target. Unfortunately, over the next two games that Norwich play, I don't have anybody going against them. That's why another player I'm looking at is Richarlison now. Richarlison, I think he's a good option, but he didn't play striker last game. He started at left wing. Now, can he do just good? Yes, he can. And can he score? Yeah, he loves to shoot, which is what I like about him. And he did score last game, and I thought he would. That's why I captained him in FPL Crypto's 6 Picks League. But I do think that if you have Richarlison, definitely keep him. I know he has a bad run of fixtures after the Norwich game, and but the thing is, with Richarlison, he's sort of unpredictable, and any good matchup, I would just play him in. So I was tempted to take a 1 week punt on him, but there's really no other way I could do it other than like getting rid of De Bruyne for him for 1 week. And I can't say I've ever done a 1 week punt where I just bring somebody in and then get rid of him the very next week. I think it's not really worth two transfers in general. Like something's never that predictable where for certain somebody's going to score that week or do really well. You can be really confident, but I'm just not willing to bet two transfers on it because that's effectively what you're doing. I'd rather just take a transfer in of somebody who's got a longer run of fixtures and then hope they keep up with that player in that next game week. Like, for example, Tielemans. Against Brighton, he could sneak a goal in. Now, let's get back to Tielemans versus Maddison because this is important for a lot of people and it's what I've been debating over. So, although I'm not the biggest fan of underlying stats and I love underlying stats, but expected goals is a weird thing. If we look at expected goals and expected assists for Leicester versus Arsenal, we can see Maddison only had an expected assist of 0.07, so 7% chance. Now, it's interesting because if you watched the game, you would probably just suggested that it would have been much higher than that, but if all the corners and crosses he put in don't end up in a shot, then I guess the expected assist doesn't register as like the percentage chance. So in general, that's like my problem with expected assist. You just have to understand what it's calculating, and then you're fine. But Tielemans had an expected assist of 0.46, which is very nice. I really wish that Tielemans could take some corners sometimes, but just because Maddison's such a good value player right now, that doesn't mean that I shouldn't get Tielemans. It doesn't mean he isn't right for my team. That doesn't mean that Tielemans won't get points. If you look at over the course of the season, Tielemans is only like 7 or so points behind him, maybe less than that. And obviously he's cost less and he's something I can afford. So expected goals, Tielemans had 0.09. Tielemans never has the highest expected goals, I don't think. But the thing is, he's a quality player, so if he gets his chance to slip in a pass or take a shot, he can definitely finish well. And I do see him keeping on getting points, so I'm just wondering, why am I hesitating to do this move? Just because I want Maddison in, and obviously that would be my third Leicester player if I was to get Tielemans in, so then it'd feel like I was wasting a transfer if I ever had to upgrade Tielemans to Maddison. So it's sort of putting me in a weird position there, and I'm already in a weird position like with having 3 players on one team with the whole Liverpool thing, because it'll probably be hard to get Mane in, so I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to stick with it because it's a good thing, although it may be not the ideal thing for that 3 players on the team, and I just hate being like stuck in that position. So that's sort of where I'm at now. And I don't know if it's worth the -4 to go Wilson to Ings and then upgrade him again to Madison. Keep in mind that it would be to bench somebody like Lundstrom every week. So I'm happy with my starting lineup, to be honest. So I just think I'm going to not take the hit and trust my 4 defenders. Now, keep in mind that Tielemans would still be playing sometimes, and I might end up benching Callum Wilson. So it's not even, I don't even know what to do. This season's so weird because there's so many cheap defenders that are great. Obviously, it all starts with Lundstrom, right? He was supposed to be just a third sub defender. Well, guess what? He's a starter for everybody now. So right away, your whole team is like, what are we doing here? Who do we play? You know, if you have one good person on the bench like I do, all of a sudden Lundstrom, being great changes everything. And I think Lundstrom's pretty much every week starter. So I don't know what to do with that situation. Let me know what you think I should do. It does feel a little weird playing 4 defenders just because in general they have a lower ceiling, but with these defenders it's a little different other than Soyuncu. But he's just great value, and he plays on Leicester defensively, and they've been keeping clean sheets like crazy. And I need to stop benching him, apparently. That's sort of how it goes. The day I'm going to finally say, oh, let me change my mindset from, okay, just because he keeps getting clean sheets doesn't mean he will this week. I've just got to keep benching him because, I look at each week individually. He'll still, I don't know. It's a tough way to decide which way to look at it. In general, if somebody's doing well, just put him in. So just to sort of conclude what I'm thinking about and what I've said in this video, let me just say that you can play 4 defenders with this sort of team setup and sort of how FPL is going this season. If you have 2 Liverpool defenders and you have Soyuncu, Lundstrom, or Tomori, somebody else like that, or maybe if Rico has a good matchup, 4 defenders is not ridiculous here, especially with some midfielders and their price ranges, like the McGinn price range, not that great in my opinion. So depending on how your team's set up, it may fit you to play 4 at the back soon, and don't feel like you can't do it. Another thing is, if you have the money to get Madison over Tielemans and you're trying to decide, oh, should I just take Tielemans just to save the money? I'd go Madison. I think he's much better just because they get a lot of set pieces, and with that extra bonus, I think it's really worth it. He looks to shoot a lot. He looks confident now. And the thing is, Madison gets a lot of volume of shots in general. So when he's confident, those shots are much higher quality, and he's got a better chance of scoring. I'm not saying Tielemans isn't confident, but the way Madison's been playing, it's been great. And another thing is Callum Wilson. If you still have Callum Wilson, I don't even know. I'm just going to hold on to him because that's what I said I was going to do last week. I said I'm just going to keep him for the next 3 weeks. And I'm not going to turn my back on that now. And then coming up is the 3rd week of what I said I was going to do. So I'm just going to hold him because that's what I said I was going to do. I'm sticking with my gut from 2-3 weeks ago from what I said I was going to do. So I'm just keeping it simple, and I'm not going to take the hit because if you don't know what to do, I'm just going to err on the side of not taking the hit. That's pretty simple stuff. Another potential risky move is to get rid of De Bruyne. Now, if you're considering doing it, if it's your gut, that's the kind of thing I would say just do it. I don't think it's crazy enough for me to say to go against your gut on that one. But I just can't do it yet. I don't know if it's because I had the value tied up in him or what, but I just know that he can bang, especially with a home matchup coming up and against Chelsea. After international break, they get a chance to recoup. I'm thinking that I'm just going to keep him. It's not really worth a transfer. I got bigger things to deal with. Although, no matter what, I am happy with my team at the moment. And I have gotten 3 green arrows in a row, and my team is looking much better now. So that's good things. I've made some good transfers, obviously, with the Vardy video that I made, and I brought Vardy and Soyuncu in, even though I haven't been playing Soyuncu enough. And then I stuck with Salah, and he's finally starting to look good again. I got a Martial. He blanked 1 week. He's looking good. And obviously, I've kept Vardy, and I got Abraham in at $7 million. So I've got a lot of price tied up in him. It's been looking good so far. Thanks for watching the video. I will see you next time. I will have a video out next week when I talk more about who to captain and what I'm going to do with my team. So I will see you then. Please like and subscribe if you want more. I'm just chilling in this little room, and it's hot in here, so I've got to go. Bye.